How's it going? We're going to do another episode of On the Clock. So got 10 questions here that have come in from people that have seen our ads and seen our videos. I'm going to put 15 minutes on the clock. Here we go. All right. First question. When borders open up, do you encourage clients to visit China during their manufacturing process? Is it necessary? Can you set up a tour of the factories? Depends who you're working with about the necessary, right? If you're working with us, I don't think it's necessary. We want our clients to come. We want our clients to come see the supply chain, see how things are made, get to meet everybody involved. That definitely helps from a subjective standpoint, right? Making better relationships with the people you work with, just having better business relationships. I think that's very important. Necessity though, not really. And I think for the time being, it's going to be a while till you're going to be able to get in through the borders anyways. Next question. What are the risks or advantages of surfing on Alibaba for preliminary quotes? The advantages is education, right? You get to learn a little bit more about your bill of materials, your BOM, right? What is your product actually going to cost to make? What components are in your product, right? How many different things go into making your product? And what's it going to take to get everything done? The disadvantage or the risk is that education's bad, right? You're going to find suppliers that give you super lowball pricing just to get you in the door. And then a lot of times people base their entire pricing on that, and that's just not realistic. So go into it, take things with a grain of salt. Definitely learn about your product, learn the words that people are talking about, the processes, get some ideas of what it might cost, right? You're going to get a wide spectrum range of costs. And then you'll probably know you can settle somewhere in the middle for something that will be high quality and safe. Next question. What do you think is the future of manufacturing in Southeast Asia? Is the infrastructure already there to build complex products? Not really. So before COVID, we had gone to Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, India, and gone and looked at what their production capacities were, what they were capable of doing. And I think by now we would have had something set up hopefully in each of those countries. Obviously, COVID happened, so that changed. But if you're looking for really low quality, low pricing stuff, yes, you can do it. Clothes, lots of textile-based stuff, simple things, absolutely. If you're trying to build an iPhone, it's not going to happen. And I don't see that happening for probably 10 more years. Next question. You ever read a book, and I guess this is someone at the company. You ever read a book incentive in your company? How does it work and what is the reasoning behind it? My dad was an avid reader, and growing up, we would ask him, can we get a new pair of shoes? Yeah, we said yo to our dad. Can we get a new pair of basketball shoes, or can we get a hat, or can we get it? And the answer was no all the time. But if we said, can I get that book? Yes, every time, right? I read tons of books growing up. And I think books are really important, right? Being a university dropout, I learned most of what I know about business through reading and experience. And so I encourage everyone in the company to read as much as possible. I don't know if you can see in the background, I have a library with a couple hundred books. And anybody who wants a book, they just tell me why they want it, and the company buys it for them. Next question. What are the top factors you look at when approving a project for onboarding? To put it simply, I would say longevity, right? Being able to, and there's a lot of things that go into having longevity for a product, right? It could be creative, it could be marketing, it could be that it's super innovative, there's nothing like it on the market. It could be that it's first mover's advantage, really good team, right? There's a lot of factors, but when I look at a project, I look at all of those things and try to think, right? I've seen thousands of projects. We see 100 projects a month at least. I think I have a pretty good grip on what types of projects, what types of products, what types of teams will have longevity. And so When the board looks at projects to approve them for onboarding or not, that's the main thing. And then all those other factors help define if that product will have longevity. And then we make a decision based on that. Next question. Should you launch on both Amazon and Shopify? I think yes, why not, right? There's advantages to both. Shopify, obviously, you have your own email list. It's your own site. You control it. Amazon, there's economies of scale, right? People are already on Amazon. They don't need to learn about your brand to find your brand. But it's also very competitive. I think, in this day and age, getting your product on as many sites as possible, you never know what's going to happen, right? One of my first products I ever did was a little Bluetooth speaker. And I reached out to a couple e-commerce companies. I didn't even really know them. They ended up buying like 500 units, which at the time was a lot, right? It was a big order. And it kind of just, it struck me out of the middle of nowhere. So I recommend people get on as many different platforms as possible and really utilize all the tools and weapons they have at their advantage when it comes to building a business. Next question. What goes into developing a watch micro brand? Why is it so profitable? What are the general costs to develop and manufacture a mid-range watch? What is the number one thing that makes micro brands successful? So I'm a big watch guy. I've worn a watch every day for probably close to 10 years. And while I do really, I have a Rolex. I love it. I love really nice high-end watches. I love the way that they're built. I love the way that the movements, they're so complex, and I really enjoyed manufacturing them from the very beginning. But what I really love is these micro brands, right? So this one, for example, is a brand called Helson. And the micro brand watch world it's niche, right? A lot of people want to wear an Apple Watch. A lot of people don't want to wear a watch, but the people that wear watches love watches. And I think the most important part about building a micro brand watch is getting feedback from the community, right? You're not going to be in Nordstrom's, right out of the gate. Most watch brands never get that big. And that doesn't mean they're not making money, right? I know people that are doing 7 figures in watches just on their own e-commerce site with a few different launches every year. We have customers that are moving a lot of watches, right? It's a very niche world, but the niche loves their products. I think the most important thing is to get a lot of feedback from your community, right? Be a part of these, there's a micro brand watch group on Facebook that has, I don't even know how many members now, probably 50,000. And post and get feedback, right? Talk about what features are important. Understanding what people want is as important in watches as it is in any industry, in my opinion. I would say to really design and develop a watch, obviously it depends on what your skills are, right? If you're a designer, then you don't need to pay someone to do that. But I'd say to design, develop, open the tooling, prototype, you're looking at 10 to 20 grand, depending on the movements, how many prototypes, and how serious you're taking. You can prototype a watch for $100 on Alibaba, but you're going to end up with $100 of shit. So if you want to do it properly, my advice is to take every step the right way, and it'll be like 10 to 20 grand. Next question. Does Morpho manufacture projects outside of Asia? A little bit. Right, so we have, right, like I said, we have an office in India. We've done some projects in Vietnam. We've done a very little project in Indonesia, but COVID really stopped that. And that's not really what Morpho does, right? We don't build low-end, low-quality, low-margin, high-volume stuff, right? We're not shipping out containers that are filling up boats. We're doing really high-end, precise, hard-to-make, complex products. And there's just not really anywhere else in the world to do it, right? The countries that can do it are too expensive. If you're talking about the Germanys or the US of the world, right? There are factories that can make stuff like this, but no one wants to work there for the prices that would make it, makeable, that would make it profitable for companies that want to build those products in those countries. So to me, China is the only option right now. And again, like I said in the earlier question, I think that will be like that for the next 10 years, at least. Last question. How does a 3PL work? So 3PL is third-party logistics. Basically, that Bluetooth speaker that I had, what did I told you about earlier? When I did that project, I got all of the speakers from the factory. I got all the addresses from my buyers, and I went and shipped each one out individually. Now, that saved me money, but how much do you value your time, right? I think people don't value their time enough. And it's not sustainable, right? It's shipping out 500 units a month. What if you're shipping out 50,000, right? That's not sustainable. That's not manageable. You can't even do that. So a 3PL will handle that for you, right? And you basically take all your inventory, send it to the 3PL, work with them, plugins, whatever methods they use to track inventory and to track inventory in your e-commerce store, and then they'll ship it to your buyers individually. So there's 3PLs all over the world. People say, should I just get it out of China and ship individually? The answer is probably not, right? If you're shipping individually from China to England, to Germany, to New York, to LA, it's going to be very expensive, right? So most e-commerce, I'd say, internationally, I would say most people's biggest market is still the US. So it makes sense for your 3PL to be there, ship all the goods there, and then have, individual shipments that cost much less. Now, if you're an Australian company and 90% of your customers are Australian, then do your 3PL in Australia, right? There's plenty of great options all over the world. They'll make everything easier for you. It'll help you value your time more. It'll help you scale your company more so that you can focus on the things that you really do best. Anyways, that's it. Another episode of On the Clock. Peace.